So as it turns out, this Charlie Kirk situation, I ain't got to get back into the whole details. We all know the details. We all know how some people feel about it. Um, but what has happened from this thing, in this part, I didn't so much even see this coming. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I saw this part coming. I said on yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. I said I don't think it was something to quote unquote allegedly start a race war, for the simple fact that if that was the point, they would have came out and said somebody black did it. So I said that yesterday in the video, or 2 days ago. I said I don't think it's about a race war. But what this seems like it's about at this point, this country is going to a dictatorship and possibly a civil war. Because now with this whole thing, they coming out here talking about people are going to be losing their jobs behind this thing. I seen a couple articles about a couple people who already supposedly lost their jobs. Even out here where I'm at, one of the a school person, principal, somebody she's under suspicion, under investigation or something like that. She didn't lose her job yet. But if they're going to sit here and start firing people from their jobs behind this, that's going to be the start of the end. I mean, the start has probably already happened, but that's going to collapse this country. That will definitely collapse this country. And I seen the vice president, what's his name, Vance. I seen him making a statement about this earlier and talking about how Charlie Kirk is his friend and talking real tough. That right there blurs the lines between a democracy and a dictatorship right there. You got you got the vice president talking in a retaliatory manner based off the feelings he has for a personal friend and what could or may come about because of that. Whether you realize it or not, that right there crosses the lines between a democracy and a dictatorship. Now you have a person of authority who's in power, may potentially start pushing legislation that are going to alter people's lives based on him being angry of his personal friend in this situation. You got to understand, it may not sound like much, but that's going extremely deep off the edge of democracy. I mean, whatever you want to perceive as democracy, we're in America, you know what I'm saying? I need some goddamn gas. So the democracy is what it is to an extent, but you really got to understand when the vice president comes out and makes such a statement with such vigor, you know what I'm saying, and such aggression based on his personal friend's situation, you got to realize we're going into a dangerous place right now. We're going into a dangerous place because you can already see that what he's on is about to be some stuff coming because they're angry about it. Regardless of how you feel about the situation being real or psyop or whatever it is, that is dangerous. And even this whole thing with them trying to, because look, they're talking about taking people's jobs. What's going to happen after that is, because a lot of the people that are in trouble for making stuff on the internet happen to be white people. It's not mostly black people. Most of the stuff I'm seeing on the internet is white people in like professional positions who are being targeted for saying stuff about Charlie Kirk. So these people are going to take this land down if they all get fired. But best believe there's going to be some lawsuits. Because just like the side of the Charlie Kirk side, whoever has all the energy to push that, whoever's coming against, happy to see people getting in trouble for speaking out, they want to see you lose your job. There's also people on the other side who at their they don't support speaking out against this. The people that feel like it's okay to not have to bow down to a situation because you don't feel like you're supposed to have to. You know what I'm saying? The other point about this is this: if people start losing their jobs based off their personal feelings for something that in their heart that they believe they're 100% justified to feel like and speak on, this is supposed to be America. Don't get it wrong. 100% justified to feel and speak on the situation. Now somebody's going to come and say they're going to ruin your livelihood over that. This country is going to. This country would definitely go into civil war behind that. I guarantee you. There's nowhere to go with this besides down. Trust what I'm telling you. There's nowhere to go besides down. This is going to lead to a very bad situation, a real bad situation, regardless of what side you're on. And it seems to me like if this allegedly was put together, allegedly with a psyop or something like that, allegedly, I'll bet my money that this was the reason why right here. Like I said, this is not no racial stuff. They're not trying to push a race war. They're trying to push a civil war, allegedly, is what it looks like to me, is what it possibly could be about. This goes beyond race. This is about class and not even so much political party. It's more or less about they just trying to, like on the movie, the Civil War movie, they never showed you how they got on the movie, how we got into the war. It just picks up while the war is going on. You know what I'm saying? And the president on that movie looks like it could be J.D. Vance if you look at it. It was a dude who was much younger than Donald Trump. I think he had black hair, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Trump's allegedly on his way out, whether it's for real or not, whether he really is going to be gone or not. So easily J.D. Vance, I think his name is J.D. right here. J.D. Vance could easily be ready to be put in position to become the president real soon. And the way the thing I seen him say earlier was he was talking tough about this Charlie Kirk situation. He was talking real tough. And like I said, mind you, everything he was talking tough about totally is outside of the boundaries of the Constitution and free speech. So that's where this is going. At the very least, this thing is about to take away free speech at the very least. Because the whole thing with this job situation, if they start getting rid of people because of this with jobs, I can guarantee you after a little while, just like with the COVID thing, people will be able to get their jobs back, probably with a lawsuit, you know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, in between time until that happens, the months or it takes a year, whatever it takes for that to happen, there's going to be chaos out here. That's going to lead to major chaos. You know what I'm saying? So this thing, like I said yesterday, this is the most magical psyop or whatever, the alleged psyop, or even if it's a real situation, this is the most profound, magical situation that happened yet when it comes to how it's affecting the everyday person in America. It's hard to ignore this, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't speak on it, it's hard to ignore this because you're being put into a position to where both sides seem extremely, there's no convincing either side. Whatever side you're on, you can't be convinced of how the other side feels and take and feel like they're right about it. You know what I mean? Because we're so wired into how we think of what we feel like. You know what I'm saying? This shit is just, it's gone. It has gone beyond that. It's way beyond that. And like I said, I'm surprised to see how many white people I see who are against Charlie Kirk also. This is not about no race. A lot of white people are not feeling Charlie Kirk. Just think about it. A lot of LGBTQ are not going to be feeling about him based on his views. A lot of minorities and melanated people are not going to be feeling him based on his views. The quote-unquote Democrats or the quote-unquote liberals or the other side of the conservatives or the Republicans, just by default of who they are not going to be feeling it because of his views. So automatically, that's a huge portion of the country who's not on this dude's side, no matter how you try to slice it, no matter how you look at it. Now, granted, a lot of people who aren't on the side are still saying that they don't agree with the fact that he was murdered. They're still saying they're not happy to see that. They're still not condoning that. The people who are against Charlie Kirk, there are a huge segment of people who still don't condone the violence and stuff like that. But they wholeheartedly, 100% absolute for sure, said that they do not have sympathy for him and empathize with him because they feel like he spread hatred and he was evil. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Reverend, I seen a video of a Reverend. I seen it yesterday, matter of fact. Black Reverend, I forget his name, but I think he was in Virginia or something like that. And what he came out here and said, I mean, if you follow me, you already know I'm not religious. I'm not a religion. I'm not none of that. I'm spiritual, but I don't have no religion. That's not for me. But when I seen him doing this sermon he was giving, I said, "Amen." I was like, "Amen, preach, preach, amen." He put it together perfectly. Everything he said the whole thing perfect. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen that, just type in "black preacher" or "black reverend" speaking on Charlie Kirk's situation, and it'll pop up. He said he's overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? With the activity that's going on. And I've seen a lot of white people actually sharing that and we're applauding that. So it's, like I said, this is not race. This transcends race, this whole situation. This is about who you are in the core of your being. Because if you really believe that people don't have the right to not feel sympathy for Charlie Kirk, you really feel like that because you saw this man get murdered on TV. For a lot of people, that's very traumatic. It's a very big deal. It's like extreme. So you wholeheartedly in your soul believe that is crazy. On the other hand, it was like Charlie Kirk was a person lived his life offending you and your well-being and stuff like that. Then wholeheartedly believe that you should not be to feel sympathy, empathy. You felt like that. Both sides are 100% on how they feel. There's no right and wrong. There's no convincing either side. There's no middle ground with this thing right here. That's why I said this is going to could possibly lead to a civil war, and definitely I can see this leading to a dictatorship. That's where I can see this thing going. America is going into a dictatorship. Allegedly is what it looks like to me. This thing is way out of hand. Way out of hand at this point. Like I said, if you just came in here, I was talking earlier about how J.D. Vance was making this speech, and his emotion and his aggressiveness and anger is based off of him saying Charlie Kirk is his in power, the vice president, ready to possibly start making decisions based off how he feels personally about a friend. That's what you call a dictatorship. That's when all law is out of the window. You know what I'm saying? They start allowing people to lose their jobs behind this. Realize that we will be officially in a dictatorship. That's when democracy is out of here. Freedom of speech is out of here. Because people that are looking at it like, well, what about, there's a meme going around, and I remember this myself. What about when George Zimmerman was out here signing packages of Skittles after the whole Trayvon Martin situation, and people lined up to get him to give his signature on a pack of Skittles and on a bottle of goddamn Arizona iced tea? People who sympathize with that and feel like that's beyond crazy are just not going to sit here and feel like they're going to be forced into having to have sympathy on the other side of it when the other side then didn't have that same sympathy for them. There's no middle ground with the situation, man. I'm trying to be careful about everything I'm saying, but there's no middle ground with this. This shit is going to cause people to start doing physical acts. People start losing their job behind this. This whole thing is going to go down. I'm telling you right now. It's going to crumble. People who've been, like the person around Rum, actually like a teacher or something, been there for like 20 years or something, a white lady. People like that are not going to just allow you to just take their jobs based off of what's quote unquote supposed to be freedom of speech, and then be blindsided with all of a sudden nobody wanted to enforce freedom of speech before, but now all of a sudden out of nowhere they decide to enforce the whole, I mean not enforce freedom of speech, to condemn freedom of speech. Out of nowhere all of a sudden they're going to come out and just now change freedom of speech, and now you're automatically caught up in some nonsense because you said something that they don't like, that they don't agree with, and now you're going to be in trouble. That's going to cause people to lose their mind. I can guarantee you, psychologically, that's going to cause people to do stuff that they normally wouldn't do, if you know what I'm saying. Stuff that they normally would never even think about doing. You wake up one day and tell a person that they lost their livelihood, especially people who never been living less than how they've been always living, like their life. That's something that will cause that those type of things will cause people to lose their mind and go out and do just ridiculously crazy, insane stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see people with certain jobs doing like all it takes is for a person to have like a tiny bit of mental health issues to lose their job or something like that. We see people going out here doing stuff at their jobs for way less. You know what I'm saying? They woke up, had a bad day for some other reason. Now you're going to do this to millions, potentially millions of people at the same time want to lose their job because of some freedom of speech. Because they didn't even know they was violating freedom of speech, and all of a sudden you want to enforce that. That's intentionally trying to cause civil unrest. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around that. That's them intentionally trying to cause civil unrest. So if this keeps going how it's going, this is going to be resulting in a civil war, and or possibly a dictatorship. I mean, after the civil war comes, depending on how much stuff gets torn apart. And this is what I say about America also, too. I'll say this much about America and this whole thing. Sometimes when I think about how America is, the leniency, how people get to, even just going online and seeing trolls do crazy stuff on, it makes sense to me that for America to work, and I'm not saying I agree with this or that it should be, but it seems like dictatorship would really be parallel to the ideology of how they try to make America seem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of would need a form of dictatorship to control a lot of the bullshit, is what I'm saying. Because when you let a joker just go haywire off the reservation, I mean, you either gotta ignore it all or you gotta accept it all. There's no two ways around it. There's no way. And sometimes if you go on like Facebook, you see certain posts, you see something that could be like something about some kids being killed. It could be like the worst thing in the world. But without failure, if the post got more than like, if it's like a viral post or a popular post, without fail, no matter how terrible the information on the post is, you're going to have about 100 jokers in there with laughy faces, smiling emojis, laughing emojis. And to anybody logical and mature and responsible is sitting there like, what kind of person would sit back and have the audacity to hit the laughing emoji on a post like this? You know what I'm saying? But you see that every day, all over social media in America. So what I'm saying is that, not that I would agree to a dictatorship, but it kind of almost seems like a governmental dictatorship is the only thing that would be able to regulate some of the stuff, the way America is going. So if there was a way for a dictator to be like very honest and very, you know what I'm saying, understanding, very fair, then it would make sense, is what I'm saying. Because a lot of shit that's going on is people are just so willy-nilly and just so like, we need order. That's what I'm saying. We do need order around here. There needs to be a certain level of order around here. The way it's going about with this right now, I'm not saying I agree with how this is going. This is definitely not the way to go, how it's doing. But there needs to be a certain level of, I think this is what it is. They just need to be able to, I think you should be able to get your ass whooped. Part of the judicial system, I think this will regulate a lot of shit. Part of the judicial system, I think, should be you go and getting, like back in the day, like they called it lashes or whatever, like caned and shit like that. You get beat with the cane. I think if that was part of our society, I think that alone would alleviate a lot of bullshit. Just that right there, I think it would alleviate a lot of bullshit. You get caught online doing some, making crazy, most untasteful stuff, take you down and whoop you with a cane. You know what I'm saying? I think that alone right there, like, would straighten a lot of people out. I'm dead serious when I like some kind of physical punishment. not necessarily lock you up, not necessarily do something like where it's going to alter your life, but you got to go down here and face some pain. The equivalent of people that go online talking to other people, talking shit to people, the equivalent of if you're going to say something to somebody, would you have the heart to say it to them in front of them, knowing that it may end up in them physically punching you in the mouth? That's basically what I'm saying. We need the equivalent of that all across the board to make this shit work in America, to be fair for everybody. There got to be a level of consequences that got to be faced for whoever you are, whatever you say. I mean, I ain't gonna say whatever you say, but you should get the gist of what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So I get the whole thing, because this American thing is not working. Between capitalism, there should be a cap on capitalism. That's another thing that should be. There should definitely be a cap on capitalism. But then it's like, once you draw the line, where do you draw the line at? Where do you actually say, all right, this is enough? Especially if a person got what they got and they're still putting the work to get more. So the American system, man, it doesn't work. At the end of the day, it don't work. It worked before, but once the internet came into it, and once the way we live now came into it, there has to be an adjustment of the government to go forward from this point on, because I don't know, man. I don't know if there has to be, but it seems like there probably should be. Hit the like button if you're up there. So what's going on? What we're talking about today? What I'm talking about now is that this Charlie Kirk situation could potentially definitely bring about civil war. And if I was saying this was a psyop, if I was believing that, and if that's what it was, if this was put together, I would say that the reason is to start a civil war or to bring in a dictatorship is what I would say this is about. Allegedly, if I had to guess, if that's what the case was, that's what I was talking about. That's what this whole thing was about. I can't really see a name. It's like Cash Scouter. Do you think there is other influences on our government? Oh, definitely. Hell, there's definitely other influences on our government. Definitely. And we don't know who they really are, because we believe that everything, we believe the bottom line that everything is about money. And like I always say, money is not the end all be all. Money is the end all be all for us. Like I say, I've been saying since my other channel back in the day, we have never seen anybody who really runs the world. Another thing is that there's only two classes of people who run the world and people who live in the world. Everything in between that is a smokescreen. Everything in between the people who run the world and the people who live in the world is for us, the regular people, to, you know what I'm saying? The regular people, us to be, this is what we do on the ground level, on the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you either are with the people who run the world or you with the people who live in the world. The president and all them, they live in the world with us. Everybody who we see lives in the world with us. The people who run the world, we don't see them. We don't see the people who run the world. You just see the people who manage the company, the managers of the company. That's why a lot of the times public figures, politicians and stuff will tell blatant lies, because believe it or not, some of the time they didn't even know they was going to be telling a lie. It's just that the orders change after the fact. They might be like, "Oh, you gonna go out here and say this, do this." They don't know they about to be put on. They about to be that their orders are going to change sometime. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's all about. So money is only a part of it. Money is not the whole big picture. This shit's really about way more than money. Because what could money do for a person? The people who run the world, what could money do for them? Doesn't even. If they got the ability to turn off the electricity around the whole goddamn world, I mean, you can control the world just based off that alone. If you can control electricity, you control every damn thing. If you control the flow of water and electricity, shit, you run the world at that point. You don't need that. Let alone the food chain, but water and electricity alone. I can't say you run the world, because some parts of the world don't have electricity. They're not even in the grid per se. But you damn sure can control America, any name brand country, Russia, America, China, whatever. You can control any name brand country if you control the electricity and if you control the water supply. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, hit the like button. I'm about to get out of here. So I thought you was Chris Brown. So I thought you was Chris Brown. That's funny as hell. We are a republic. I don't know what we are right now. We're about to turn into a dictatorship is what we're going into. When you got the vice president making a speech in anger and aggression based off of him in his speech saying that this is his personal friend, that's where you cross the lines of any, whatever you want to call it, republic, democracy. That's when you cross the lines into a dictatorship. The minute a piece of legislation or a rule or a law gets passed based on somebody's personal feelings of their friend who has the power and authority to make and change laws, that's when you're officially in a dictatorship. Freedom of speech is supposed to override everything. The Constitution, the amendments, as long as this stuff is in place, that's supposed to override. That's why it's there. That's the law of the land. That's the rule of the land. So if a public figure, if a person of power comes in, or a person of alleged power, or the perception of what is alleged power comes in and can change legislation or change a rule or change a law based on how he personally feels over his friend, that's when you're in a dictatorship. Because then if that happens, it ain't gonna stop there. Like everything they don't like, they can, you know what I'm saying? That opens the whole floodgates for everything. And people are not gonna sit back and accept that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're losing their jobs about it. So didn't you hear all the anger from the Democrats all the time? Because I don't even play that Democrat-Republican game. That's beneath me. If you're talking about Democrats and Republicans, that's beneath me. I don't even, not to even sound ignorant towards you, but that even racism is beneath me. A joker come out here being racist. Somebody walk up to me now and call me a nigger. I'm not giving you the power to make me move. Like, it's beneath me. You know what I'm saying? Democrat, Republican, that shit is all beneath me. I don't even, it's only entertaining, or when you, local, I'll say this much, local government, that's where it matters at. We can say that. Local government, it does matter. But when it comes to national politics, and even if you're very passionate about Democrat, Republican, if you're like real into it, that's all beneath me, man. I can't even stoop to that level anymore. It's just, I learned a long time ago when I first got into this whole quote unquote conspiracy stuff, or waking up, whatever you want to call it, years ago. First thing I really learned was that a Democrat and Republican is nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That shit's all nonsense. Cause I'm never gonna feel wholeheartedly about any issue based on a side to be on. For me, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, look at the issue for what it actually is. I'm gonna dissect it based on what it is. I'm not gonna automatically make a decision on how I feel about something because I'm a Democrat. That means I gotta accept everything the Democrats say. Or from a Republican, I gotta be down with every piece of legislation or every issue that they're down with. That's too simple-minded for me, man. I'm that's anybody who, and more power to you if that works for you. But for me, that's too simple-minded, man. Like, because you're a Democrat, you gotta be pro-abortion or whatever side they're on of abortion, or if you're a Republican, you gotta automatically, you don't got a mind of your own. Like, you can't agree, you can't sit here and say you agree with every single thing that either side does. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're like that, then you're just a machine at that point. I can't, that's beneath me, man. That Democrat Republican talk, that shit is beneath me. That shit is all beneath me, man. I don't trust none of them. None of that. So I look at it all like WWF. That's what it is to me, WWE. If you saw my channel before, my old channel, like back in those times, I used to be all into politics. I used to know everybody's name on CNN, Meet the Press, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, all these people, Tim Russell. I used to know all that shit. I was as I was learning about the world and all this quote unquote conspiracy stuff, I was also into the politics shit. I was into the whole entire thing of it. You know what I'm saying? And what I learned real quickly was that none of the whole Republican Democrat thing is a bunch of bullshit, man. I just can't stoop myself that low to that's beneath me. I said a lot to say to answer the question what you just said. To me, Democrats and Republicans, that whole ideology is beneath my train of thought. That's just beneath me. I'm above being a Republican or a Democrat. don't even register to me. You know what I'm saying? That's why the minute this Charlie Kirk thing happened, and I seen people jump right up right away, blaming, oh, it's the left extreme. Not that I'm saying I personally think or whoever it could have been. It's just the fact to be that small-minded. The same as I would do if it was the other way around. If it was Democrats jumping up, liberals jumping up, oh, it was the right. They did it. As soon as I hear you talk like that, it just turns me off. I'm just like, all right, you're a person that you don't have any deep thoughts of your own. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to go with whatever they feed you. You're one of them kind of people, as they say, build it and they'll come. One of those type of people. Just put it in front of you. You'll show up to it because it's there type of thing. I can't really get with that. Hit the like button if you're up in here, man. I've seen a couple people, been 20-something people, 30-something people now. It's been for a minute. It's not like people are jumping in and leaving and jumping in and leaving. People are coming in and staying in here. So if you've been here and staying here for that long, at least hit the like button if you've been here. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. Now, a big-ass black truck just pulled up next to me, a Yukon, as I'm doing this video. For all I know, it might be a goddamn them people. You know what I'm saying? So because I voted Democrat, and it says because you voted Democrat and Republican. What do you mean because you voted Democrat and Republican? How could you mean you voted both at different times? Or I don't understand what that means. Other thing says it was the libs. If you think that thinking that small-minded to me is automatically, it's not even, I can't even get with that just based on who do I want to be calling me right now? Somebody's got their car next to me. Somebody's called me, messing me up. Hit the like button if you're up in there. Rachel Gotham said, yep. I can't, my screen is dark for some reason. It's not bright, so I can't really see the names and everything that people are saying without picking my phone up and doing all that. But if you automatically are going to blame the other side, that means you ain't leaving no room for no type of, you know what I'm saying, no type of open mind to any other possibilities. And that to me is beneath me. I can't stoop that low to just accept anything that people are saying. I'm always a person who's thinking more, thinking deeper, thinking about other possibilities in any situation. You know what I mean? But I'm also a person who has been through a lot of different things in life. I'm a person who has won and lost certain situations. You know what I'm saying? I think it takes you to take certain kind of losses so certain people can be exposed. This is what happened. I was just thinking about this earlier out the blue. Stuff like this. So one time when I was young, who I consider a person, was I about like 22 maybe or something like that. I was like 19 or something. This was the second car I ever. No, this is the third car I ever bought in my life. So I was about 20 maybe. This is one of the first things that woke. This is not the first thing, but on this level, you know what I'm saying? I was about 20 years old. Just say I was 22 or something, between 19 and 22. This was the third car I ever bought in my life. So a person who I thought was one of my closest people I grew up with, the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? As we got older, we kind of ventured off a little bit because he started hanging with different kind of people, doing different stuff. I don't even want to say specifics. The people that know me might know who I'm talking about, and I ain't trying to put them out there like that. But he knew I was looking for a car. You know what I'm saying? It was I'm not even going to say it, because if I say the car was, then people, if anybody don't know, if they remember, this shit is so long ago. Anyway, the car cost $1,800. Is what he told me. His friend, he's like, oh, my friend got this car. Da, 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 da. So I was like, all right. I went to see it. He said it's $1,800. Mind you, when I seen the car, test drove it, his friend was his friend, who is not my friend. This is my friend's friend, but he's not a mutual friend. Somebody I don't know. So I go see the car, I like the car. So then, when I told him, I was like, I forget what happened to make me. I said, or whatever. After I seen the car, I get a call from my friend about the car. He's like, oh, dude, he's saying if you want the car, when you gonna be ready to get it, pick it up, and da 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 da. But it was a message that was on my answering machine. Don't you know that after he told me that, and he thought he hung up, He thought he hung the phone up. This is on my message. I had to. I don't have it now. This is fucking 30 years ago, 20 years ago, not 30 years ago. Damn, 20 years ago. Don't you know that on the message on my answer machine on my voicemail, I heard him say that to me. Call me back. He'll call me back. He wants to know if you get in the car. Da 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 da. When you gonna come? He thought he hung up and started talking to the dude on my fucking voicemail. And he said, "Oh, yo, so whenever we meet him, he said, look, when he's gonna come, he's like, slip me the 1,000. Make sure you don't see it. I'm gonna walk back here. Da 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 da. So give me the $1,000." So basically, who I thought was my friend did, charged me $1,800 for a car that his friend would have sold him or was selling really for $800. He made $1,000 off me, which is cool. You hurt everybody, but this is supposed to be your people's. You know what I'm saying? This was supposed to be like a person I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that right there, I said a lot to say. Situations like that are turn you into a critical thinker. It makes you be. You don't just accept things people tell you. When you've been through situations like that, especially at a young age, it turns you into a critical thinker. You know what I'm saying? It makes you say, hold up, let me always try to look at all the information, because you just never know what the situation is. Just because something's perceived in front of you, no telling what's really going on. I'll give you another quick one real quick before I get up out of here. Another friend, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't gonna say that one. I ain't gonna say that one. I ain't gonna say that one. I don't know who's watching. People that might know me are watching this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to, because this shit is all so old. I don't have any type of feel. But these are things that adjust the way you perceive the world. You know what I'm saying? Adjust the way you perceive the world. And these are like back in, like I said, my early 20s, 20. So imagine, and that's just not even the first, and imagine how much more stuff since then I've been through. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to turn this about me. I'm just saying, like, that's why a person like me, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, your mind is that narrow. That's beneath me, man. I can't even take you serious if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Now, you can lean certain ways based. I can understand if you like certain ideology, certain stuff, but if you just like everything, every issue, every side of every issue that they're on, and just because of that don't make no sense to me, man. It don't make no sense. So, do you vote? The last time I voted for Barack Obama, his first term. That's the first and last time I ever voted in my life. No, wait. Was it? Then was it Gore or Obama? It was it had to be Obama. It was Obama. Then did I vote twice? And maybe I voted for Gore and Obama, or did I just vote one time and it was for Obama? One or the other. I've either voted for Obama and that was the only time I voted, or I voted twice and I voted for, I think it was Al Gore going against George Bush Jr. I think it was. That was Al Gore, right? If I'm not mistaken. Was it Al? No, it wasn't Al Gore. I can't. Yeah, I think it was Al Gore. Yes, to answer your question, I have voted before, but I haven't voted definitely since the Obama thing. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time I ever voted. Because I was fooled by that whole Obama thing too. That shit swept me. That was when I first really started getting heavy into learning about how the world works, quote unquote conspiracy stuff. I started learning about Operation Paperclip and all this stuff. That was like the first things I started like coming into, and then so I was like caught up in the whole Obama thing at first for a quick minute, and then I realized, like, I got back on track. Like, hold up, this is what they'll do. You know what I'm saying? This is the extent that people will go to alter you the way you think, to make you feel like, oh, well, he's here. This can't be this because we got a black. So then I caught on. Then as time went on, we see what he didn't do or what he did do, and it's like, see, I haven't voted since then. Obama against McCain, is that what it was? So it was either McCain that I definitely voted for the first Obama. If it was McCain he was against, and I want to say that I voted for whoever was against Bush. Was it Al Gore? I feel like I'm saying the wrong person for some reason. Al Gore. It was I can't remember. My memory's kind of fucked up. I got into a car accident, so it kind of fucked my memory up. But Lindsay Rose, Young World. Free thinker said it makes you a free thinker. RIP Robert Redford. Yeah, I seen that earlier. Robert Redford passed away. Said I voted Clinton and Trump. Yeah, I was because voting. If I vote, I would only vote nowadays for like a local. If I vote for a local politician, because your local politics do affect your life in a way to where it's like more realistic. You know what I'm saying? The people that you can address and that you can actually reach out and touch or talk to. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Gore in 2000. Lindsay Rhodes. Yep. Good looking for that. Yep. Al Gore 2000. Rachel Garcia. Yes, it was. Like I said, I had voted, but I had voted for Democrat and Republican, and not in a party. Oh, I see what you're saying. You said back and forth. Yeah. If anything, that's what makes more sense to me. If you vote, that makes sense. I could understand that. You know what I'm saying? More than the person who just votes one way all the time because they consider themselves to be a Democrat or a Republican. Like, if you bounce back and forth based on what the issues are that year, what the people are saying, that makes more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That actually makes more sense because it means at least you're like looking at what's going on at least, instead of just being blind and just saying vote all the way down this side. It just don't make no sense to me. So against Kerry is George. So yes, Al Gore the first time around, and his cousin John. That's who it was. John Kerry. I knew. I was like sitting there like Gore don't sound right. It was John Kerry. That's who it was. I voted for. If I voted, it was for Kerry, and then I voted for Obama after that, or it was just Obama. But I do have like a recollection of voting for John Kerry going against Bush. I feel like I remember that for some reason. That's what it was, John Kerry. I knew it wasn't Gore. It was John Kerry. That's what it was. Because 2000, I think I was locked up in 2000. Actually, now I'm sitting there thinking about it. So around that time, I think I was locked up anyway for that. One. I've been on here for a minute, but this thing, man, they wove a tight web with this whole situation. This Charlie Kirk thing. This is like no other thing we have seen yet. Everything else that has been going on, quote unquote psyops, quote unquote conspiracies, are things that push the needle along a little bit, little adjustment there, but this thing here, this is like a fucking a fucking sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is like different. They're doing with this shit. If they actually follow through with people losing their jobs, all this stuff with free speech they're attacking, what appears to be dictatorship coming in, this is like a whole different level of like, they like, look, we're running out of time, and in their mind, it looks like they're saying we're running out of time. We got to come out here and just drop a fucking hammer and get this shit all popping in one shot, and just like they're desperate or something. Like they're running out of time to do whatever they want to do is what it seems like. Because this shit is like different. And even if it don't even go that far with the whole job thing, there's people that I can say for myself, there's people I definitely ain't going to speak to again. And it's not even that to be so caught up in it. It's just like, if I know you're that fragile mentally, you're not solid enough for me. It's like, there's no reason for me. I got my own issues. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me to interact or be around. Not that I interact or be around nobody any goddamn way, but I'm just saying, like, I'm steering clear of certain people. Because if you're that mentally fragile about certain things, I'm not taking a chance being around you. I don't got time. It's just like, man, look. And this is around the board. I've seen a lot of people online, Facebook and stuff like that, people who I knew that grew up together who are at total odds with this thing. But this is like worse than the COVID, the VX, you know what I'm saying? The jab. This is like worse than that shit, man. This shit is like out of hand, man. Because this one came in so quick, I think is why this is so much worse. The whole COVID, the CV thing, and then the jab that came with it. It all played out over like years, like 2 or 3 years, like my little bit here, a little bit. It was like, but this situation here just came out like boom. And before you know it, 2-3 days later, they're talking about people losing jobs. People are being attacked on a personal level. Pure hatred is being spewed on whatever side you want to say is coming from, or both sides, whatever you want to call it. This is out of hand, man. This is real out of hand. I'm gonna get out of here, but look at these last couple comments. Hit the like button if you're in here, man. Stop bullshit. So that is the way everyone should vote. We didn't have two parties until Andrew Jackson. He is the one that started separating the people. Yeah, definitely. I feel like if you vote based on the issues on the current time. Don't just vote based on because you've been a lifelong liberal or a lifelong conservative. That don't make sense. Shit, ideologies and ideas and even people's own personal perception changes about stuff. You can't just stay one. There's not growth. It's either you're a leftist or you're not. Pick a side. It's the reason why it's called the right, because we are right. Everybody got the right, speaking of that, quote unquote, the right to feel how they want to feel. It says William Carter said, yeah, if you can afford to. I'm not sure like what you're talking about. Said the jab was patented before 2020. But yeah, we dug on to that whole jab thing. There's a whole, and make no mistake about it, we sat here and watched. I know around, what was it, 2022? I came on here a couple times and said that I seen more people drop dead instantly out of any other time I ever seen in my whole entire life. So you look like a guy sitting in a car in a deserted park. I'm not in the desert. Right behind me is Applebee's, so there's Target over there. But that's exactly what I'm doing, sitting in the goddamn parking lot. A dude sitting there looking crazy. Nobody's around me, though. At one point, a big black Yukon did pull up next to me. But then they, I guess they like traded off a kid or something like that, like the mom or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to pull it up. Says, what's going on, everyone? DJ Troy, LOD, salute to you too. I'm about to get up out of here. But yeah, man, shit is crazy. This is the most spookiest times we've been in America, I think, in a long time. This shit is spooky, man, because this is a touchy situation. And earlier, I seen that the one dude that they first blamed on the old dude for the shooting for the Charlie Kirk. It said that he now was charged with I don't know what it is, child PRP. I don't, you know what I'm saying, child PORN. I don't know how much you can say we get flagged for. But I just realized today that they said that he claimed that he's the one that, I thought they just assumed, they're saying that he jumped up and claimed, like he acted like he was the one that did the shooting. So I don't understand why he would act. If he didn't have the alleged whatever child stuff that he has that he's caught with now, because I don't see how, if you have in possession of that, I don't see why you would take a chance of bringing no goddamn police to your attention. You know what I'm saying? So if it's outside of that, my first thought would have been that he was a diversion, jumping up saying, acting like he did it to let the actual real alleged shooter get away. You know what I'm saying? To divert the police. Is what I would have thought, because I didn't realize till today that he claimed he did it. They didn't. He's the one that said he did it, is what they're saying. But that don't make sense if you know you're in possession of child PRN. Like, you're gonna take a chance like that, and you're in possession of that. You want these people getting up in your business? So that just sounds. I don't know what the story with that is, but that sounds crazy. But yeah, let me get out of there, man, because I got stuff I gotta do. And I gotta get some goddamn gas here. My gas light beat a little bit. I got a couple miles to go before I'm about to be on E. Somebody said you look like a joker sitting in a deserted parking lot. That shit was funny. But that's exactly what I'm doing. It's not exactly a deserted parking lot. There's a lot going on around me. You know what I'm saying? There's like I said, you got Applebee's back there. It's like a whole strip mall. You got Target over there. CVS, you got a whole bunch of shit over here. So it's not exactly deserted, but I am sitting there looking crazy in this parking lot by myself. Not by myself, but you know. So now that you mentioned that dude, they say he witnessed the planes that hit the towers, and also he made the false bomb threat around the same time the Boston bombing was happening. You talking about the dude with the that got arrested for the Charlie Kirk thing, the first dude, the old dude. They missed the days on YouTube where you can speak your mind and make exposure videos. Yeah, man, those days are gone. I was on here since back then. When Trump first came in is when they started talking about this whole freedom of speech, whole kind of attack on what you see on YouTube. But they kind of brought it out in the opposite way, because Trump was saying that based on news stations, people coming at him with spreading false narratives. So it kind of came out in the opposite way is how it first started being talked about. But then, of course, it morphed into other stuff, and now where we are today is we're just totally now somewhere totally different. So the authorities have come out and said the photo they are displaying of the shooter is AI enhanced. I saw so much stuff about that whole part of it. The shooter, this case, like I said, that part of it. If you want to talk about what looks like quote unquote conspiracy stuff and psyops, this case has more of that stuff than anything we've seen in a long time. There's just so much evidence that supports this being like something that's just. Now you got to be careful if you even say that, because the next thing that's probably going to happen is if you even say that you think this didn't even really happen, then you might lose your job for even that too. That might be the next thing they might come out and say. You know what I'm saying? But I said days ago, I said it appeared to me. This is before anybody started talking about this part of it. I said that it appeared, and I still got the video. I said it appears to me that he was hit. If he really was hit with a shot or whatever, this really happened. That it looks like it would have had to come from ground level as opposed to from way up 200 yards on a building. Because for one, if you look at where he was sitting at in that tent, he was sitting very far back from the edge of that tent. He was like feet back, you know what I'm saying? Which would give you the assumption that it looked like they knew that there might have been a threat already, and they was trying to conceal him a little bit from being that exposed right out in the open. They figured put him back in the tent, because he wasn't like right at the edge of the tent where the tent was. He was feet back into the tent, which would block anybody above him from getting a direct shot. You know what I'm saying? So the shooter, the alleged shooter, would have had to been at a place that would have been so perfectly aligned with him to be able to, like I said, to reach that far and hit him from the angle he was at. Then if you look at it, I didn't say this part of my video. I seen this after the fact. Somebody was talking about this yesterday. I didn't realize this till like people were talking about it. When he gets hit and goes to the side. So why is he getting hit and falling to the left if the bullet's coming straight from that way? That don't make sense. He's going to the left. And also on his left side is where all the blood and shit comes out of. If that's real blood and he really got shot, it makes sense he got shot from the right because it hit him. Anybody who ever been shot or knows about bullet or even just knows about, a lot of the times where the bullet goes in that, you could barely even tell you got hit with a bullet. Is where this shit comes out at, is where the damage is at. The bullet hole that goes into you, 9 times out of 10, depending on what kind of gun you get hit with, it may look like a tiny little dot. You actually may, like, I don't even want to get in, it like a tiny little dot sometimes. You can't even tell where the shit went in sometimes. But if it goes through you, the exit wound is going to look way different than where it went in at. And that's where all the blood came out on this side, started gushing over here. So it makes sense that he got hit from the right. We didn't see blood gush out on the right. We didn't even really see blood just gush out all from the down. It went all this way, and front and left. So that means he probably got hit from the right. You know what I'm saying? And those creepy ass dudes that was next to him, the bodyguard and the other people, that's like a whole different story. They was definitely doing. For all we know, to play devil's advocate and to be fair, to keep it on the surface level, for all we know, to play fair, to be fair, those signals they was doing could have possibly been them trying to communicate and give warning to maybe some other bodyguards or security that there was a sniper there. It could have been because of that. Because he definitely, the stuff dude was doing like this, when you look at the grid, the paper, if you look at a thing that shows you all the goddamn military sign language, that's on there clearly. When you go like that, that means sniper. So that's what he was doing. So to be fair, maybe he was doing that to alert other security around, like, oh, there's a sniper. We see a sniper. Like something like, maybe he was doing that for that. But the fact of the matter is he was definitely goddamn it doing some sign language. That's indisputable. You know what I'm saying? You can't dispute that. He was definitely doing some sign language for goddamn sure. You know what I mean? But like I said, to play devil's advocate, the sign language could have been him trying to alert other security that, hey, there's a sniper, get on alert. And it's because it happened so quick after he did that, the shot came right away. So maybe that's why it looked like he was signaling to shoot, and it could have just been like he was signaling other security, be on alert, there's a sniper. And it happened so quick that, to be fair, to play devil's advocate is what I'm saying. It's possible. But we definitely saw him do some goddamn signals. That's for damn sure. And the dude next to him with the hat and the arm. Anybody that saw that knows. Hit the like button if you're up in here too. Hit the like button. But yeah, we are about to potentially go into a different uh, segment of America that we are all unfamiliar with, and I think that's what this thing really was all about. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting out of here now for real. It's been 55 minutes. I got stuff to do, and I'm about to run out of goddamn gas sitting there. But shout out to everybody that came through. Hit the like button before you get up out of here. Um, there was something else I was going to say too, but I damn sure ain't gonna be able to think of it now. But that's about it, man. Shout out to everybody that came through. Stay out of the way of these jokers, man. Do what you got to do to maintain. And hit the like button before you get up out of here. God damn, there's 25 people. Hit the goddamn like button. Sheesh, hit the button. Shit. Maybe I should stay out here and talk a little bit of shit because I need to get in order to get monetized again, my watch time hours need to come up. Yeah, hit the like button. I seen one person. Hit the like button. God damn, for Pete's sake. Hit the goddamn button. It don't cost you nothing to hit the button. Yeah, there's another one. 8. Fucking it's 25 people up in here. At least half of y'all hit the goddamn like button. I mean, goddamn, you sitting there, we all in the same spot. At the end of the day, just know I don't give a damn about none of this shit for real. For at the end of the day, as far as like I said, I'm above racism. I'm above politics. I'm above all that shit. Yeah, of course, certain things will bother me if it's in the context of like a universal ideology, or you know what I'm saying, like something that's going to affect that has no choice but to affect my life. But personally, I don't give a goddamn if somebody's racist or not. It don't affect me. I'm not going to allow somebody to alter how I feel. But when you're talking about stuff like this, then yeah, you talk about it, you break it down, shit like that. But I can give a damn about a Republican, Democrat, or a racist. To tell you the truth, I don't give people that much power over me to get me worked up. If they can't affect the outcome of a situation in my life, I'd say that much. You know what I'm saying? If anything, if what they're doing or what they're saying can't affect my life, I damn sure don't care about it at that point. We were all young, yeah, we were caught up. You hear somebody say nigger or something like that, if you automatically think you're supposed to be triggered to go act up. I grew out of that a long time ago. I don't give a goddamn. I don't care how people feel. You would have to realize that most Americans are, to an extent, at least a little bit racist. You know what I'm saying? Every American has a little bit of racism. And no, I don't even mean it got to be evil racism, like you're a racist or a hatred. Just you identify what's different. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are different than you, especially if you're an American, you don't got time for nobody who thinks different than you. You don't got time to be understanding about how people feel about issues that you don't feel about. You don't got time for that. You a fucking American. You a goddamn bold-faced, hardcore, hard-hitting person who only cares about what you think about and what you care about. You don't got sympathy as an American for any goddamn body. Let's not sit here and play. Like, you ain't got no sympathy for nobody as an American. You only got sympathy for what you like. That's it. Everything on the other side of what you are and what you like and what you care about, you don't got no goddamn. Especially this day and age, you got sympathy for anything or anybody? No, you don't. And if you do, it lasts about 5 minutes. And after you get off, then you're right back on Facebook or Instagram. You're back on Snapchat and TikTok doing the TikTok dances. You don't got no sympathy about nothing or nobody. So let's not even play that game. You know what I'm saying? Americans are just funny. We're all just so funny in America. Selective outrage. I'm not even going to get into all that, but just selective outrage and all this type of stuff. People are just, you don't care about nobody else besides your own thoughts, feelings, and self. You know what I mean? They have made sure that we have been programmed we've been desensitized years ago. We have been desensitized a long time ago. I'm not saying that none of us don't have feelings or don't have sensitivity or don't have compassion. I'm not saying that, but in the grand scheme of things, if a situation affects you, if a situation is in the way of you going on Amazon and pressing the button to get your little package delivered, you're going to choose your little package being delivered over any goddamn issue going on, no matter who it is or what's about. Ain't nothing going to get in the way of your package from Amazon. That's just the bottom line for that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing getting in the way of your iPhone or your Android or your phone Ain't nothing getting in the way of your inconvenience. That's just what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you might have compassion in between time, in between those things, but you're not giving up your Amazon package showing up to show some compassion for somebody. So let's not sit there and even play around. Hit the like button, man. God damn. So no time for people who think the world is flat. I mean, I don't even care if people think the world is flat or round or whatever, because at the end of the day, none of us know what the goddamn world is for real, for real. Because the way this world is today with certain stuff like that, that's subjective because um, you can't you yourself can't go out and measure that. You know what I'm saying? Like you yourself can't do an experiment to know if that's which because look, and nowadays you can go online and find facts that back up anything you want to back up. That's why it's like nowadays everybody's right about everything and everybody's wrong about everything because no matter what side you feel about what you feel, you can go out and find some facts to support any goddamn thing. You can find some information online to you know what I'm saying, to support any goddamn idea you have. So no time. Yeah, I ain't gonna get into all that flat earth stuff. Hit the like button. At least could we get 10 goddamn likes? Goddamn, we're at 9. One motherfucker more like ain't gonna get. Hit the like, don't cost nothing. Hit the button. God damn, how's dangerous for Trump? There we go. 10 likes at least. We've been sitting there for a whole goddamn hour. At least probably 200 people that came and went at this point. Joker can't even get 10 goddamn likes. Damn, God damn. Jesus, Joseph, Mother, and Mary hit the goddamn like button. God damn. Sheesh. And I seen something Trump, if I'm not mistaken, I seen a thing earlier that said Trump gave $750 million to HBCUs or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I think I seen something like that earlier. But this is how the presidency works, man. I'm gonna leave with this. This is why somebody took a like back. You dirty, rotten, low down, fucking lifeless, low down, low breed, low ball, life garden, goddamn it, low life bastard. You took a goddamn like off. You gotta be a miserable sons of bitch. You hit a like and take it off. You got no life. You just got your life is in shambles, dude. Like goddamn, you took a like off the goddamn post. That means your fucking life is the worst in the world. Somebody took a like off the goddamn thing. You got to be a miserable motherfucker to take a like off. What was I about to say? I forgot what I was about to say. I'm getting out of here, man. I ain't got time for this shit, man. I think I got my hours of views up a little bit. Might push me. So you can use scientific knowledge to determine the world is not flat. You can, but if you look hard enough, you'll find information that you can scientifically prove that it is flat. Until you can go out up in space yourself and look, because we know that every image that NASA has been giving us since we've been goddamn kids, thinking this is the image of the Earth. We know as we got older that those are not real images of the Earth. So let's start there. You know what I'm saying? We know those aren't real images of the Earth. Some people got the argument. Yeah, he said what? Yeah, that's CGI. No images from NASA space are actual real images. So how is for Trump? You can use. So yeah, look that up. NASA's pictures, none of them shits are real. You know what I'm saying? Then people got the whole argument with gravity. That's a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look it up. Say Calvin Jackson. That's what people were saying. Me personally, my goddamn bills are going to be due whether the Earth is flat or round. So at the end of the day, it's irrelevant at this point. It was fun to all that kind of shit was fun when I first. At this point, I don't give a goddamn if the Earth is round or flat. If it ain't going to pay my goddamn mortgage, I mean, I don't give a fuck if the Earth is shaped like a goddamn bowling ball or whatever it is. It ain't helping or hurting me either way. And that's just all to that. But yeah, that's about it. Some other people said some other stuff. It was like a long time ago though. Yeah, hit the like button before you get up out of there. Shout out to y'all, man. I keep saying I'm gonna go into the studio. If I get time tonight, I'm gonna go sit in the studio so I can pull up some stuff as I'm talking to talk about. There's a couple other things I want to talk about too. There was a teacher out here in Allentown in Pennsylvania. I'm just I ain't gonna go into it really now, but a teacher out here in Allentown early yesterday, I think it was, went crazy out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's called on video. I got the video and shit. And she just, I don't know if she's possessed. This shit looks crazy. This teacher's a black lady. Just started bugging out of nowhere, falling on the ground, doing all. I don't know if it's like, is she possessed? Is some kind of like fucking alien being getting to her, or controlling her mind? I'm gonna share the video later. I got the video. Shit is insane. I'm like, what the? This is crazy. That's another video for another time. All right, I'm out here now for real. Shout out to everybody that came through. Be safe out there, man. Regardless of whatever side you're on, whatever's going on, Charlie Kirk, flat Earth, whatever it is, just be safe out there, man.